Alright, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel, Connor on Chain. So, we got Bitcoin finally bouncing. Looks like it's having a real bounce out the gate, coming out from underneath resistance, right? Double bounce to come back up. And as of right now, technically still in a downtrend here. RSI on the 4 hour is looking good. Probably going to pull back a little bit before it continues. The main thing I want to see right now, again, is if it can either pull back or just continue up. It's around 63, 64. Break through this resistance, show signs of strength, break through, pull back under. Kind of something like this. I'm either waiting for something like this to continue, then it pulls back, and then boom. Or maybe this shoots up directly, bounces off resistance, and then tries again and just rips one more time. Something like that. I'm projecting that this is going to go up. From here, we actually could be starting another major leg to this bull run shortly. And I say shortly by, I'm not talking about within a few hours or maybe a couple days. Like it's probably going to take at least a couple weeks, if anything, still, no matter what. Even if this is the beginning of it, everyone is going to want to see, is Bitcoin going to hold? Is it going to trend up, start nuking again, and then dump, maybe one more time? It could do something like this, you never know. Maybe it just consistently keeps making, lower, what is this, higher lows, lower highs. Oh my god. Consistent making lower highs here, but it's holding right around, support. If this continues to bounce, maybe we see it come down for a little bit, but outside of that, Bitcoin is looking very good. Ethereum as well has had a pretty good bounce. And kind of the same thing. Ethereum has just been kind of on support for a while. Bounced, technically 1, 2, 3, around 4 times right here. So we could see this again. Just something similar. Kind of just trend, bounce, and then eventually just, have a good rocket to the upside. So, like I said, taking it day by day. It's going slow as crap right now. But something I did want to note is the Bitcoin dominance is looking pretty interesting. Oh, that's not what I meant to do, but actually might get a better look at it here on the weekly. But on the weekly here, to me it looks like momentum is kind of giving up. So we definitely could see this come down, pull back, maybe to somewhere in this area, maybe between 53 to 54%. If Bitcoin decides to start its run right now, but like I said, it's probably going to just range for a little while longer from this general area. But it is holding on support here. But like I said, we definitely could see at least a sweep down a little bit lower to then potentially see it go higher. But that's on the Bitcoin dominance, though, across Bitcoin with all other altcoins, right? And so this is the ETH BTC, which is kind of playing out how I drew this, I think about, a couple weeks ago. I think when it was here, came down. I don't know what kind of strength it's showing, in a sense, because it is right on top of this, it's heavy trend line here. But what I would like to see is if this does bounce up here, this is going to be showing a lot of strength for altcoins, which, at the moment, as long as we got Bitcoin really making new highs, I'm pretty sure Ethereum, Solana, a lot of majors are going to catch up at some point. But to me, it seems like the ETH BTC chart is fairly bottomed out at current levels here. The RSI is not really telling me too much, but yeah, I don't think we're gonna see too much lower for it. Maybe short term, this could come back down one more time a little bit. But I think outside of that, this is probably gonna start eventually trending up. So it could come back down because the reason why this trends down is because when Bitcoin starts to really rally, have its move, this is when this chart goes down. Because obviously when Bitcoin's running, usually Ethereum is moving a little, but Bitcoin's got the spotlight, right? Once Bitcoin's spotlight is gone, it kind of settles, slows down. Usually altcoins are what follows after, and that is when you see huge runs on the ETH BTC chart. That was basically the previous bull run, right? Into 2021 when Bitcoin went from, I think it was it October, November of 2020 into, I think, April or May. Bitcoin was almost up only for those 5 months. But then right after that, what happened? From April into May, outside of Bitcoin's little drop or major drop that it had in 2020, the double peak basically. Off the first peak, this is where altcoins flew, right? Went from April to May, ETH dominance took over, and then just trended for a while. And this was in 2022, altcoins kind of moved. But as of right now, this is kind of what we're waiting for, Again, looks like this is fairly bottomed at this level. Looks like it wants to hold this as a very strong support, but I think as long as it just continues to bounce and range, I think it's probably going to eventually break to the upside. Because again, as long as we're going through August, September, October, I mean, that is still a decent amount of time because, again, altcoins are going to lag against Bitcoin in that same sense. Because, again, if let's say Bitcoin decides to really start its run from end of July into, let's say, August, September, October, right? Usually for that 3 month span, altcoins are going to be going up. But again, the spotlight is going to be on Bitcoin. So this is probably going to continue to range until Bitcoin finally settles at its new all-time high level. Then we see altcoins really skyrocket, almost to reprice back to where Bitcoin has just moved. So that's kind of what I'm betting on. So don't follow this drawing 100%, because it's really just going to depend on if Bitcoin decides to really move now, then this is going to sit sideways. But going into August and stuff, yeah, I'm going to delete this right now. But it's probably going to bounce, chill out around here. But outside of that, like I said, we got Bitcoin. That's up almost 4% today, which is crazy. But I think a lot of it, too, has been with Trump because, I'm not going to really mention it too much here. But if you guys saw what happened, that was insane yesterday. Like, that will literally go down in history. But that's definitely been, I don't like to say it's been bullish for the market, a president getting an attempted, shot at basically. Like, I don't like to say it like that, but, the market has been literally moving up. It's like since that happened. But like, it is what it is, because Trump is very pro crypto, so it's definitely been super bullish right now. But outside of that, I want to pull up, just a few altcoins here, because lately still I haven't talked fully about a ton of AI, a ton of gaming. I've covered gaming a lot, but outside of that, I still want to get into some RWA, AI, more Bitcoin DeFi stuff too as well. But we're just going to cover some here. And again, so before I even cover some of these alts, guys, again, this is very speculative at the moment because of the market sentiment, right? So some of these altcoins right now are very bottomed out. It does not mean you should be buying them, just because of the market sentiment. We actually could, over the next month or two, sit sideways and go down. I'm not trying to make this any sort of buy signal for anyone. Just showing you guys some coins that I still really like in the market. And one that's constantly, like, I'm always checking on is actually FX1. So the ticker is actually FXI. You can type that in. But something I've been waiting for is a literal bottom to show up on this coin. So it's at 2.3 million in market cap. And we just jump into the website. I've covered this a lot, just on and off over the last few months. But it's actually really interesting. They just mix, sports, analytics / AI data, stuff kind of like that. But it's for, to help predict for any sort of gambling or sports betting, stuff like that. Very interesting stuff. This I don't think there's really any other project doing anything like that. But another reason why I'm very bullish on it is the fact that, I feel like sports betting and stuff like that, just more so like literal gambling around like in the crypto space, and outside of meme coins and gambling on actual cryptos, like we've seen Polymarket. If you guys aren't familiar, this website / application has completely just taken over too. It's been a very, very strong in the space over the last month or two, But I feel like just a lot of different kind of actual just betting has been very popular in crypto, inside and outside of crypto, and a combination of sports betting, stuff like that, AI data. I feel like this kind of combo for FX1 is definitely it kind of nails the current, like very current narrative. And the chart is all the way back down, very low. But like I said, like it is very high risk currently at the moment. There's still no confirmed bottom on this coin. And again, I genuinely do like this project. Team is doxed as well. They're literally on, I don't know what the crypto TV show was, but they were on the crypto TV show. You guys can literally watch that, I think on Netflix or one of those apps. But very cool stuff. This one, like I said, I've been watching this for a long time. Initially I had one of the first videos I ever made was when they relaunched, which this is their new contract that they relaunched on, as you see here. But watching it all the way down here, and I still have like conviction in this, even though it is back down to very low levels. Most of the market has just taken a huge hit over the last few months, right? But definitely liking this one. Then we got the ear saving the world. Make ear great. There, I swear, this is outside of what I'm doing, but this is just, if you guys saw yesterday, I mean, deck screener's still filled with it, basically. Like Trump versus Bullet. That's crazy. The ear stays on. I just think it's funny. It's nuts. But yeah, for an AI coin that is microcap, very high risk currently, FXI or FX1. Like I said, I really like that one right now. I'm gonna cover another RWA too. Like I said, I'm just gonna cover a couple alts in this video, and these are just very. As I type in RWA, I'm going to type in soil here. So this is soil, currently at 6.5 million in market cap. Soil is actually a gem, in my opinion. I feel like most coins, I don't know what it is. I don't like when altcoins are on different chains outside of Ethereum, Solana, mainly, like literally those two. Like with, a project is on a different ETH L2, I feel like it just does not get like as much volume at certain times. But soil here, in my opinion, is a gem of a project. I mean, I could just read this out too, but I was going to pull the website up too in a second. Fully regulated DeFi protocol ensuring secure returns on stablecoins backed by real-world assets. If you guys have seen videos in my past, or in the past, of me talking about soil, they basically are, it's kind of like I don't want to call it a Celsius or something like that 2.0, BlockFi 2.0, but using real world assets, they aim to provide like literal safe stable coin yield. And the reason why that I feel like that's very important is, again, once this bull run is even semi concluded, once we get way further into this bull run, many people are going to be taking profits, putting their money into stable coins, right? But from that point, what are people also going to be looking to do? They want to put their money to work, even if it's stabled up, And at that rate, if people can get, a decent percent and know that they're actually going to be safe, they're not going to lose all their money like in those other past protocols, right? So soil, in my opinion, is a huge bet. Just on like a simple fact of that, that's been my thesis for it for months. They got a lot of they got some partnerships too. Doc's team as well. I don't know. There's not too much I need to cover with this. I think it's just a very, very strong overall coin. But outside of that, yeah, currently at 81 cents. And excuse me. Initially though, yeah, I actually I hold soil. And initially my first buy was around 17 cents down here when it first launched. It just accumulated all down here. And at this point I'm still looking to accumulate. But soil, in my opinion, it's just a gem of RWA coin. I don't feel like I don't see many people talking about it, but I really like this one too. Let's see. I want to do a gaming as well. I'm gonna pull up one meme coin right after this too. But we got excuse me. But we got Soonverse, guys. I've talked about this now multiple times. But Soonverse, in my opinion, is a great micro cap gaming token. I don't know what it is. Fundamentally it seems very sound for what it is. It's definitely still insanely high risk. Again, in the current market conditions and sentiment, anything is going to be high risk right now, right? So you always got to keep that in mind. But usually times like this are when you should be accumulating. When things look bad, when everyone is, down bad, or, just thinking that it's over, right? But Soonverse, I think it's a power play for a microcap gaming coin. Like I said, I think it's just super strong, right? You guys can watch my other videos where I go a little more in depth with Soonverse. But I like Soonverse a lot. You guys can check that out. And then for meme coins, I actually have been liking Moo the Bull. Mainly because with Moo here, I think this chart at some point is just going to have a major breakout. Because most of the time what we've seen, I call it the Mog thesis. Not to bring up Mog every single YouTube video I talk about, but initially what Mog did was do this exact pattern for 6 to 8 months. Bounce, 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 bounce. Coiled up until it broke out, had a nice little pullback, and it was off. I don't expect Moo to go from 50 million to a billion off its first leg up. I guarantee that will not happen, but I think from here, just an accumulation area is genuinely anything under this range. You could buy here, 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 down here. If it goes back on this trend line, just buy it, hold, be patient. The community is insanely strong. It's kind of the thesis for the bull run, right? It's kind of like Pepe and Friends themed / related to it. It's not actually part of the Pepe and Friends, I guess narrative, whatever. It's not an official Matt Fury art drawing, whatever, but it kind of just relates to that. Just being a bull for the bull run. There's not much I can do fundamentally to analyze a meme coin, but for me, just based off charts and technicals that I've seen work out multiple times now, all the times, just heavy and strong accumulation at the lows, And eventually it's just going to break out if the community is there, and they are 100% with Mumu. And we actually just had, and I just made a video on it yesterday, but we had Retardio, which did the same exact thing. It's finally broken through, and it looks like it's on its way. I don't know if it's going to be ripping insanely hard from here. I know it will at some point. Retardio is going to go berserk, but what I mean though is a lot of times when things break out, usually they'll pull right back, maybe under resistance, bounce again, maybe start a major leg. But at this point, I'm watching Retardio just play out live. This has been one of my highest conviction meme coins in the space. I talked about this, I think, initially the first time all the way in April. So it was basically a free accumulation for 3 months, guys, And I try to make all this stuff as public and known basically to everyone, But I'm saying the same thing because I know for a fact the same exact thesis is going to happen with Mumu. This chart looks a little different, but same exact idea. So we had just accumulation here, had a pump up, I guess a retest just under support here, and it just kind of boomed, But it's going to be the same thing with Mumu, right? So just based off that, that's, in my opinion, that's all you need. Just be patient and literally just enjoy the ride with some of these coins. That's what it is. I've been adding to a lot of the coins that I mentioned, except FX1. I'm not in yet because, like I've stated right now in the video and even before, is I've still been just waiting for a confirmation that the coin is 100% bottomed out. I don't know if it is. It looks like it is right now. It looks like it's definitely getting there. But I'm still waiting to add to this. But again, it does look very good though. Even though very low volume, but again, I think with a combo like this, having AI, sports betting, stuff like that, mix of Gamblify, AI, I think this just could go crazy at some point. I think it's just beautiful. And then having the strong fundamentals that it has with the Docs team, very transparent, open team about everything too. I think at some point this will run very hard for a micro cap. And I'm not going to give targets or anything, but I really like this one and it looks good. Because like I said, I like to try to give, especially coins too when they're low or at potential entries, versus always talking about random coins and then, they're always, super high up, right? Or they're just not in a buy area. But something like this could be, if you risk very low, just like this dude, $200, $500. Depends on whatever, your risk tolerance is and your financials. But, I think this kind of risk to reward, just target literally, 10 cents at a minimum. Basically just previous all-time highs versus, maybe 50-60% drawdown. Something which is just with micro caps or low caps, guys, depending on the sentiment, which is one of the most important things to analyze when you're really jumping into stuff. You're basically saying to yourself, all right, I'm going to put a certain amount of money in this micro cap. I'm going to be risking, depending on how low you want your stop loss or anything, like you can say to yourself, all right, I'm going to risk maybe 50 to 60% of this bag for the chance to make a 5 to 20x. So it's like you're risking minus 50%, or you're going to be plus, 500% or plus 1,000%, right? What that means is I'll explain it just in simpler terms. So again, it either goes up or down, right? But you can risk 50-60% to the downside versus when the market sentiment kicks off, a 10x versus minus 50%. on what you have. That kind of thing that's really how I analyze microcaps depending on charts. Is the risk to reward there? And again, most of it stems from if the sentiment is, kind of confirming that it's about to hit, right? But as of right now, AI, gaming, most utility narratives still do not have that confirmation whatsoever, which is why it's very high risk to be accumulating anything microcap right now. Because they will just continue to drop and drop and fall until that sentiment just kicks off. Sometimes it's a random catalyst at random times, but I mean, the fact we got Bitcoin starting to move, if Bitcoin just has a few God candles and pumps, kind of sits, that's usually going to be a time where we're eventually going to see a random narrative just come into play. And, a catalyst will almost form itself and start, having different narratives pump out of nowhere. But outside of that, just wanted to bring up a few coins that are higher risk, but do have pretty good, risk to reward at current levels. Yeah, I'm not a financial advisor. Please do your own research looking into these as well. But outside of that, that's what I wanted to cover today. Just a bunch of different info out here. I appreciate you guys watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.